Welcome to Risk On, episode. What episode are we on now?
36,
35.
man. No?
36,
35?
35 now.
35? Shit, I don't even know. We're flying.
It's been a 35. Oh my god! Thankfully, we have Henry to keep track for us.
Yeah, for real.
Coming to you, sponsored by FOMO, best multi-chain trading application in the space. I'm there on an alt account. Swizzle's there, not on an alt account. I think he's just bag holding stuff there right now. Sats is there, trading, doing well. I hope.
No, British app. Can't use it in Britain yet.
One day.
They've got that shit locked down. They got that shit locked down. I think
Sounds
Say did actually say that is soon come. That is very, very soon come.
Sounds lazy to me by you, Seth.
Yeah, I know.
There are ways to fix that problem, but go download it today. Promo code RISKON for 50% off trading fees. Lots of stuff happening in the trenches right now. Good time to be on FOMO, see who's buying and selling and doing what shenanigans. Lots of coins running. Liquidity is back, boys. After a long weekend where it looked like we were going to die. I think Zec went to 330, BTC 84, Hype 21. The narrative has quickly shifted.
All big Zec guys still here as well. I'm still in.
You're still in?
I'm still in. I'm still in. I said I'm going to fucking hang on to it for the rest of the time. And here I am hanging on for the rest of the time. Maybe another XPL situation loading. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm prepared for the worst. I'm also prepared for the best, obviously. So
I sold mine at 360.
Here we go.
Um,
I'm the only one left holding.
no.
No.
Okay, fuck. All right, thank God.
I did downsize. I was a little oversized, and man, macro was just scary. But no, I'm still holding. We just haven't gotten to be privacy men on stream for a while. It's been not forefront of the narrative because on chain has been kind of cooking here. On chain's been really hot, and so there's been other things to talk about. But if we ever want to go down the privacy rabbit hole, you've got Swizzle here.
Let's set him loose. Yeah, we can set him loose at any moment. The fucking big privacy guy.
What do you guys think of this narrative? All I've heard about is people talking about metals topping soon, and then it's a rotation to crypto. Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't really understand that. Can someone smarter than me understand why everyone's pushing this narrative? Because it doesn't really seem like 1 + 1 = 2 on that.
No, I don't think it is either. I don't think things have to make sense for it's a narrative to us for us to believe. I think crypto's kind of desperate for a narrative right now.
Exactly.
And this is one we're clinging to.
I'll give you guys the counter to that because I think whether it proves to be true or not, we'll find out, obviously. In hindsight, it'll be obvious. But I think the way that commodities, that the rare earths have been running so aggressively, like I think the initial viewpoint when you see all this happening is, okay, this is, a risk off sentiment. This is like a risk off environment where people are flocking to safer assets. Now you start seeing those quote unquote safe assets like gold, silver, copper, whatever. They're not supposed to move like this, right? But now they're kind of in like a parabolic state where they're in this price discovery and they're moving essentially like, you look at any rare earth chart and it looks like an altcoin rally from 2021 or whatever. So I think that there's now it's fair to ask the question, like, is this actually a risk on indicator, an early risk on indicator instead of a risk off indicator, as far as asset rotation and people looking to park money in other places? Could it just be a delayed movement where all of a sudden Bitcoin starts catching a bid? Because it's hard to believe the movement on something like gold and silver can sustain at this, before when it was grinding up. That's different than kind of the parabolic moves it's making right now. I think it could be wrong and maybe none of the rotation happens, but I think it's understandable to say, all right, look, maybe there's another, 10 to 15% move, but this is starting to get a little extreme where you probably see a sell-off and then assets rotate where. If it's not just into dollars, then where? So I actually think it's like, up for discussion. That doesn't mean you can't see a heavier retrace across, crypto still at this point, but the parabolic nature of the movement on these rare earths is a little bit eye-opening, where it's like, maybe this is not like risk off activity. This seems a little bit aggressive for that. So
Yeah, I would say the move in metals is definitely fucking risk on. I feel like people just risk off from fucking dollars right now. Everyone's scared of holding USD, and currently there feels like there is nothing else better to hold. I think that's the problem. Like no one feels safe buying stocks at the top. People feel a bit more safer buying gold at the top, and I guess the idea for the Bitcoin rally is that Bitcoin's not topped. It's one of the only assets which currently aren't sitting at all-time highs. Good thing
Yeah,
and a bad thing, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would characterize people buying precious metals as risk-on activity. I don't think people piling into metals has ever been characterized as that. It's fear-based buying usually is what
Mm,
drives it. So to say that people that are buying gold are the same people that are gonna buy Bitcoin, I mean,
maybe a bit of a stretch.
Well,
maybe a stretch to me is
Mm,
all
it
I feel.
started as fear-based buying, and I think a lot of the buying you're seeing now is different because
You know,
you've got
buying.
retail piling in now.
mm,
Yeah,
So there has been a fundamental shift, and psychologically, how do you interpret or kind of like anticipate what happens next when all of a sudden it's not just smart money piling in, but people like us all of a sudden trying to figure out how to go pile into gold and silver and all the way down the line. We were talking about tin yesterday in the group chat. Like that's a fundamental shift in how this is all playing out. You might be right, Wood. Maybe it's just because nobody knows where else to park their money. But I think something has changed where you're kind of seeing a little bit of parabola in those. And that is a little bit of a sentiment shift for me as far as like the reasons for why people are piling into the assets.
wait, tin's going up?
I don't know if it is yet, but we had a hearty discussion about tin
Oh
because
man, it wouldn't
they
surprise
what do
me.
you
I
know
know.
about Tin Swizzle?
let me. So I'll give you guys the short
We
thesis.
got a thesis on tin, man.
Oh, it's a one
We've
sentence.
got
It's
a
a one
thesis
sentence
on
thesis.
tin. Tin's like the
Uh,
altcoin. It's like the
no,
altcoins
no,
of the
no.
fucking metals market.
Tin is interesting because it is used for soldering on all the boards in data centers. So, similar to how copper is kind of needed for all of this data center infrastructure,
Mm,
tin is kind of like an essential material, as we scale all this stuff up.
got
I
it.
don't know if it's as scarce as copper is. I don't know how all that works, but I think you can apply a similar thesis and say, this is not me shilling tin, by the way. I'm
Yeah, you
just
shilling
saying
me tin right now?
it
You
was
shall.
discussed in
Financial
chats.
advice? Financial
Yeah.
advice, tin show?
I did buy copper in the last few weeks and uranium like a month or two ago. Um, I don't know if I've told the story on the pod before. One of my buddies, he's a portfolio manager for pension funds and whatever, and he has been telling me to pile into gold for the last year. He told me to put 10% of my portfolio into gold like a year ago now, and I did not listen. And he's now texting me every single day asking me and rubbing it in
Is he
that
dunking on you right now?
he's
Yeah.
dunking on me really, really hard right now.
Getting dunked on by precious metals people must be toppy, man.
It's even worse being dunked on them in real life. Like I can get dunked on the internet all the time, like
Mm,
that's fine, whatever. But like my buddy just texting me, fucking with me that he's
yeah.
getting rich hand over fist on gold, and while I'm just like getting chopped trading like fucking Dicky Ralph bag coins,
Copperino?
Copperino.
Did you guys
Yeah,
see
you're
the meme
buying
about all
Copperino?
the? Did you guys see the meme about all like the 80-year-old guys who were dancing in a circle who full ported silver in like 1980,
Yeah.
and they just went past break even.
Yeah. They can't believe it. They can't believe it. They just got out of break-even trade.
Yeah.
No,
Shit, man.
I didn't see that. But the craziest thing, so we've got precious metals running, sentiment in crypto all time fucking low over the weekend, and then you got Hyperliquid ripping 20% yesterday. I think it's
Yeah.
at 28.50 right now, and you saw like kind of a full court press from all the hype bros in the last 48 hours. You got Flood, you got Basic CZ, you got everybody out in full force shilling, while price is bouncing. And then there was a big article that came out yesterday. Swizzle, you can give us kind of a high level overview, maybe about about what people are saying as to why this hype price action might be happening.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, very convenient timing for the article to come out. Hype rips 20% the next day. Sometimes you wonder, like, what's the reflexivity of this and why is something happening? But essentially pointing out just like this was Eric Economic on X, good follow, and he wrote up a really good article, basically just like laying out here are the reasons structurally why hype went down and why it was more than just the market and the correlation to Bitcoin, which is obviously a factor, but just saying like, where was all this heavy selling coming from? There were a few massive sellers, the Tornado Cash seller, among others. And he kind of documented like there was a lot of liquidations that needed to happen, really heavy, like longs build up around the $21, $22 area that needed to be wiped. He pointed out, where actually he tracked where the selling went from this Tornado Cash seller, who acquired it, who was buying them, what their average cost basis were, and everything. And so there was like a number of factors as far as just like a lot of like changing of hands that needed to happen, a lot of transfer from early buyers. And then the last part that he really kind of went into detail on was like the misinterpretation about the team unlocks, which I think was like the biggest point of like fear for all retail hype holders was like, okay, this team has massive amounts of unlocks, like 9 million hype tokens or whatever. He laid out how much was actually distributed versus what the listed amount of the unlock was. Only about 10 to 15% of what the unlock was actually distributed to the team members. And then of that, a certain portion was actually restaked. So basically, like, he was saying the actual amount of, team sell pressure was about 7 to 10% of what was really being heavily advertised. And of course, that led to a lot more like, whether it was panic selling or hesitation to buy. He thinks that was a large factor. He added all these factors up together, and he says basically it doesn't mean the coin is going to go up, but like a lot of the reasons for why it went down have been, heavily alleviated. And so he posts that article. Hype goes up 22% within 24 hours from then. So I don't know if people just read this and had their trigger fingers ready, or if there's something to it. But I think it is a good thing to kind of look at and say like, okay, like it's obviously going to be some beta. All alts are going to be some form of beta to BTC, but are there other underlying factors that give coins relative strength or weakness? Hype clearly had weakness for the past few months based on a bunch of these factors. And now is that clearing up? So is Hype in a good position now to really outperform if things do get better and people rotate out of their precious metals as we think they may or may not.
Into Hype. Is that the narrative now?
Yeah,
Out of precious metal into Hype.
If you see a .hl on the timeline, that's probably what the thesis is. So
what's going on with Lighter now? I haven't heard anything from them. There's a bit cold on the Western Front from the Lighter team at the moment.
Yeah, you're our perps guy, Sats. How's the revenues been?
Lighter. All I know is that people have gotten fucking rinsed on that token. I've seen
so
some really gnarly negative P&L cards.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Some people that were huge. Well, yeah, I mean, people wanted to run back the Hype trade, I think, and they piled in, or the Aster trade.
Yeah.
And you get to run a trade back once, maybe twice. 3 times is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It reminds me of Ponzi's season with Ohm. We did Time, and then everything else kind of just faltered.
Well, Sats, you're a perps guy. Do you think there's a future for Lighter? Like, is it differentiated from Hype, or?
I think the reason I mention it is because I haven't heard of it, and I'm in a lot of perps group chats, and it's like I remember it was a fucking hot topic a few weeks ago. Even like the end of last year was a massive hot topic. People were worried about it, and then it's usually a bad fucking sign when you don't hear from these guys anymore, and everyone stops speaking about it. Like it sort of seems to have lost mindshare, and it's like, how as a perps platform do you develop or add big new features to bring that back? It's kind of hard. Especially when your competitor is Hyperliquid and they're bringing gold on chain. It's a hard game to play. It's a hard game to compete in because there's not much innovation to be had on that platform or on that infrastructure anymore. Apart from what like Hyper doing with the gold and shit, but like now it's already done, so you're not bringing anything new. So it's like, how do they get back to the forefront of it when their platform is, objectively not as good as Hype, I think. But that's just, I can only say that because I'm a Hype user and I've been a Hype user and I'm never going to change, probably.
Yeah, well, to your point, I think the scary thing is it's almost the negative sentiment is not as bad as forgotten sentiment. Like if
Yeah.
you're in this space, that is heavily narrative driven and speculation driven, if you're not being talked about anymore and you're forgotten, that's worse than people saying bad things about you.
Yeah, literally, because
that's
your price just dribbles. Yeah, oh man, yeah, literally, your
XPL
price just
mode.
dribbles down. Your price just dribbles down with no one even noticing anymore. No one's even dunking on the chart anymore. I haven't seen any price dunks even from Scooter and that.
Scooter's not even dunking on lighter. That's
When
when you know
Scooter's
you're
not even,
irrelevant.
yeah, you fucked up. When Scooter's not even slam dunking on you, you know you're like shit, bro. We're doing the wrong things out here. Like when Scooter dunks on you, like you're probably doing something. You're probably doing something well.
Yeah. Speaking of Scooter, did you guys see him and Lexapro, our boy, going at it on the TL?
Yeah, gonna fight, and Trade Naxi's gonna facilitate that. What a crazy situation. I've got to say, I hope it happens. I don't know about bare knuckle fighting.
Sponsor any amount of money you guys need. If Scooter and Lexapro are out there listening right now, Risk On Podcast will sponsor this fight.
That would be fucking generational. That would go down in CT lore. That would go. Will it happen? Definitely fucking not. But in my dreams, a bare knuckle fight between Scooter and Lexapro sounds like history. It sounds like something Bob Lax would have created. I don't know if you guys remember Bob Lax, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course I remember.
Yeah, exactly. Complete classic. You probably spoke to 10 of his ults on CT.
Is he still in jail or is he out?
I think he's in prison. Yeah, I think he's in prison. I'm not sure entirely what for, but I know he hit a big lick on Fartcoin, aka he took donations and said he was going to buy Fartcoin and just didn't do it.
No, he did buy Fartcoin. He bought $6 million worth of Fartcoin and never sold it. It's sitting in the wallet.
No, yeah, that was it. He raised for a pre-sale, didn't he? He raised for a pre-sale.
Yeah,
I believe he advertised that it was going to be something else. It was a pre-sale for some product, and then instead of actually doing something with it, he just full ported Fartcoin with the pre-sale funds.
He full ported Fartcoin at 1.2 billion or something.
You know what? I feel like a lot of people don't know the Bob Lax lore. You know, hopefully when he's out of prison, he'd be great to have on.
But back to Hype for a second. I think the biggest thing Hype has going for it is just that they made their early users rich, and they were first
Lighter didn't. Lighter
made no one rich. Like people can overlook a bad product. Like if you gave me an airdrop and you pump the token, you make me rich. Like yeah, I'll probably use your product and I'll show your product, right? And I'll overlook some of the bad things. Like even Swizzle told everyone that Aster wasn't so bad. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Aster was an amazing product when the price was going up, and now it's just down. It's down.
Funny how that works, right?
Yeah, it is. But to be fair, it's one of them products you never try the product. Don't try the product. If the price is going up, yeah.
The product there got about 80% worse over about a 2-month period, unfortunately. So.
Everything just started going wrong. Yeah, the product just fell apart, man. The product is still in a rough state now. I see people complaining about it, like shit just doesn't work. The books are relatively thin.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's rough over there.
Yeah. Bitcoin just put in a horrible red candle. It's par for the course. That coin doesn't like to have green candles anymore.
Truly. Oh, right now?
It just did. It's bouncing back a little bit, but yeah, it just had a huge red candle. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Let's go.
Anyways, so big weekend in memes too, guys. A very fun weekend for me at least. As I was not sidelined Penguin. I know Swizzle, you top blasted. I top blasted around like 20 million. Right when I saw the White House tweet, I was like, oh fuck, I can't like be sidelined for this. And I caught it. And then Swizzle, you caught it like 2.5x higher than I did, and you're still holding, I believe.
I'm holding a lot, yeah.
You doubled down.
As you guys know, I'm good at buying things. I'm not good at selling them. No, I was really late to the party. You know, we were all talking about this a little bit, like when it was sub 10 million. Kind of saw it formulating. And then I think we were on the show talking about it when it was at 15 million. Wood was smart enough to top blast. I waited until all of a sudden I felt that, like, wow, this is really everywhere. And the volume was just so hard to deny. Like it was like, I hadn't seen something like this on chain in a long time. And ultimately one of my rules is like, man, I follow the volume, I follow the flows. Like even if I don't really fully understand something, like I do think that on-chain activity tells a story, and it doesn't necessarily dictate price up or price down, but it's something you can trade. And so I bought pretty heavily at like 50 million. Didn't sell any at the top when it, how high did it run up to? 160 million?
170 mil.
Yeah, didn't sell any. Haven't sold any. And then when
Won't
it started,
sell any.
Yeah, probably not. Ever. When it started to look scary in like the low 80s and mid 70s, I doubled down. I bought a lot more. So I'm still holding. It's actually part of my thesis was like, it doesn't mean this is going to happen, but if we're really going to be back on chain for a while, especially with how scary macro is, because I'm not super bullish short-term macro. If we're going to be back, it feels like this needs to succeed, needs to have a second leg to all-time highs. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but like I was very encouraged to see all this volume get driven to the him, Garija, Copper Inu coin, tons of volume, tons of liquidity getting directed that way. And Penguin actually held up yesterday. Was very surprising to me, was very encouraging as far as like, if this can continue to run and have a second leg and you have something else running, from low cap to mid cap, that's interesting as far as like how we see on-chain playing out. The worst case scenario to me was like you see Penguin run all the way up to 170 million and then something else comes along and it just dies and has no relief and retraces 90%. That would have been a bad situation where I would have said, okay, we're not really back. But if Penguin can have another leg here while other stuff is running, that's pretty intriguing.
No, I agree. It would have been catastrophic if that shit died over the Copper Inu coin. A few coins did not make it out though. The Soul token, the tomato, which is a shame. That went down like 60% because of the him situation. I think he nuked Tomato to buy the Copper Inu coin.
I don't think he nuked any of it. I think he just
not?
shifted his attention. He stopped shilling it, and now he's like,
people don't are angry for no reason.
People are angry for no reason. People panicked, whatever. I actually sold my tomato as well. I'm tomato line now.
Wow.
My average entry was like, I don't know, 12, 13 cents or whatever, 12, 13 million. So I took a loss on it. Things are hard to sustain attention right now. But Penguin,
can I ask you a question, Wood?
Yeah.
Do you think that's fundamentally different? Like the low caps, anything under 20 million, like it's pretty, even in good conditions, you always see that stuff. Attention will kind of vamp one. When you start to get things higher, like where Penguin is at, I'm thinking back in the days of like, I don't know what was running at the same time as Moodang or even post whiff, FWOG or whatever. Like once you have something get up into that upper mid cap or the mid cap territory, it's different if that gets vamped versus like there's some PvP on the low cap stuff, right? Like how do you interpret that?
I think I tweeted this morning. The rotations, there isn't as much liquidity as there was during those times, so the rotations and the vamping is much quicker and much more vicious, and we're not able to sustain like a bunch of different runners at once right now. Like we've got a couple things going, but we can't have like 10 things going, right? Like, I mean, we saw Penguin suck liquidity from the entire market over the weekend, and then we saw a $17 million token, suck liquidity from Penguin. Penguin was at $1.25 yesterday, and then it nuked in 2 candles down to 80 again after Copper Inu came out. Like that's not indicative of healthy trenches to me. That said, we haven't seen this type of volume in a really long time. We have 50 million in volume on Copper Inu. We got 40 mil on Penguin yesterday. Then we had 25 million on Coming Tonight or whatever it was called, which I actually thought was a better meme than Copper Inu. If being transparent here, I lost to fucking him, Garija again.
Yeah, so. I saw your tweet. If you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I didn't try very hard to push Coming Tonight.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening out there, that is an actual medal. I'm not making a joke about myself coming tonight. So
positive. Yeah, that's where we are in the trenches right now.
That's where we're at in the trenches. I thought that was a good narrative. It turned out the market didn't agree with me. It agreed with fucking him and the GOAT guys who are out there pushing it too. So, I did join Copperino. At first, I thought the narrative was stupid, but the higher price goes, the better the narrative gets, I guess. And as long as metals are relevant, I think that we do see some sort of metals related meme run.
Well, it's got to be Copperino now. What, it hit like 16 mil last night.
Yeah, so
I think the important thing is like ceilings are sneakily getting higher.
Yes,
right?
they are.
Like we saw ceilings
definitely
getting lower for so long, and it was just it was gross. But regardless of how high, whatever the current thing is, ceilings are like sneakily getting higher, and that's a good sign.
But I remember not even that long ago, things were 3 mil toppers, maximum. Even like when Gas and Ralph were big, 3 mil for the rest of the market was it. That was all we got. But now, ever since Gas and Ralph, and I'm surprised. I made a tweet about this. The trenches seem to be recovering way more faster from absolute devastations. Because if Ralph happened, say 6 months ago, this would have ruined the trenches for 3 months. People would have been wiped out. Everyone would have had no money. But now it seems, people redeposit, people lose, and they go, we're coming back for more. And we got the biggest runner we've had in a long time, straight after 2 absolute catastrophes, really. Like Gas and Ralph going to zero was kind of heavy. But yeah, we seem to be rebounding a lot faster, which seems to, I think it says a lot about the state of the trenches. It's moving in the right direction. I feel like we flip-flop on this weekly now. Of where the trenches are. Sometimes we come on and we're like, yep, we're all hammered. And then sometimes we come on and it's like, wow, we're back. But it's tough. It's tough to find a little medium.
It begs the question, were we wrong? For months, I feel like we've said the way new pairs work, the way creator rewards work, all that stuff, that the trenches were done, like new pairs were not going to work. Were we wrong? And it turned out it's just a matter of liquidity needing to come back into the system. Or is it still accurate and it's like it can't get back to where it was? It feels like maybe we're a little wrong.
Yeah, I think maybe we were a little wrong. I think maybe we jumped the gun in our predictions on chain a little bit, but I think definitely it seems to be changing a lot. But I made a tweet as well about the creator rewards, and I feel like something has to change there. But like the more I think about it, it's a tough angle to change because one launchpad can't go, oh, we're going back to where you have to pay for deving, because the other launchpad's going to be free. All the devs flock there, so no one's going to want to do it. But it kind of puts the trenches in a tough position because it's not sustainable. Someone deving 35,000 coins and one hitting, that is not healthy for anyone involved. But it is healthy for the launchpads.
It's profitable.
It's profitable, which is why it's hard to argue against, and why a lot of people called me a retard for that tweet. Understandably, I am. But yeah, it's a tough argument for them because they're making all the money pre-bond, and it's in their benefit to have 35,000 coins on the blockchain from one guy and have one run. But it's definitely unsustainable and unhealthy, and it's like, how long can we do this for? How long until something breaks, because I feel like we had something break before, and then we had creator awards sort of creep in, and it sort of changed the game for a bit, and now we're at a bit of a stalemate with it, where I think the guy who made Copperino, was it Copperino? I think
Copperino,
so.
35,000 tokens, $680,000 in fees generated.
That can't be a good sign, man. Like we're having success stories from devs, not traders.
Yeah. The problem is, though, like you need a cultural shift. The only way to get away from that is like culturally, you have another launchpad that doesn't offer that, and people adopt that. And like, man, so much has happened. There's always these attempts for competitors to come at Pump Fun, but Pump Fun's the default. And for whatever reason, it's just like that first mover advantage has been ironclad, that like they don't lose business. And so they shouldn't change their model because it's great for them, right? And so this is nothing against Pump Fun at all. It's just like I'm trying to envision a type of launchpad, not, there's Surge came out, or all these different ones, they all have the same incentives problems, but like what would it take for a launchpad that doesn't provide those incentives to come out for people to actually adopt it? The problem is you have to incentivize traders and creators and whatever to actually go use the platform. But the ideal utopian platform does not have those things. So you're stuck kind of in a bit of a tough place there where there's not really a clear path forward to get away from all that stuff.
I think I was saying to one of the, I won't say who, but one of the Launchpad guys yesterday, just on where I think traded fees should even go or creator fees should go. And it was like, I feel like the only logical step, what people are proven to care about is, you know, the buyback stuff. Like we remember when Snowball was running? Snowball was running, people gave a lot of shit about that. And Snowball was using creator fees to basically self-MM the token. And then we had Cow, which ended up being, you know, a bit of a sketchy one, but he had 10% token tax. And he would buy back the coin with the 10% token tax. Both inherently didn't end up working, but I think there's an angle there of where that can work. But it's definitely a tough one. But like you said, Pump are the ironclad. They don't need to do anything. They won't change their model, and they work on a reactive basis instead of trying to front run new shit. Like they'll rather wait for someone to come out with a new product and just simply copy it. Like they did with FOMO, bro. I've seen their P&L cards. I've seen Pump's new P&L cards, and it looks drastically similar to FOMO. Not a bad thing. I see the game, but you know,
Pump has unlimited money, and they can acquire any launchpad. They can launch a media campaign to FUD any launchpad. They can do anything they want to keep the advantage that they have. So whatever comes out that is going to be different has to be revolutionary and be very organic and be better. But we haven't seen it yet. We saw many people try. And you know, there's been 11,500,000 failed tokens in 2025 or something. It's up like 100x from 2024 or something.
Wow, holy shit. I saw we had 335 migrated tokens this month, I think, in the past 30 days.
335?
Yeah, 335, which was a big high from previous months. Like it's up like 3 or 4x.
Dude, so their whole business is people trading sub 40k shitters.
Yeah, literally.
Gambling on microcaps.
Yep, which is a crazy reality. And when you do stare at Pulse or anything like that on Axiom or new pairs, it is insane. It really is insane. There's tokens you will never even hear about what people lose their whole net worth on.
Dude, I popped into a chat this morning and I saw a very prominent CT trader be like, what the hell happened to this token? And the token, when it was scanned, was like 40k. It topped at like 250 and it was at like 70k now. And I was like, what do you mean what happened to it? It was a 250k topper. And this is like a very prominent person on CT who everyone knows who this person is. And I'm like, why? This is the game you're playing? Like, how can that be worth your time?
Yeah.
But it's crazy what's going on. And then, you know, we saw Surge come out recently, which went on a bit of a run. But it's kind of fallen flat. They have had no runners come out of it.
Yeah, I think they had 2-3 launches maybe. I think one of them was a 2 mil topper and the other one was a 2 mil topper. So, you know, it's like, fuck. We didn't crime these hard enough, apparently. So
what confused me about Surge was, I mean, I can't say I followed it closely, but my understanding was the people who are really excited about Surge as a launchpad were excited about the founder of the launchpad, the stuff he's done in the past, very credible, very like, you know, good track record of things, well connected in the AI space is my understanding. And so there was all this hype about they're going to have very hyped launches, very well connected. They're gonna have these launches that are like good projects, founders coming on, like highly curated, highly selective. And that was the thesis that I understood to be the case. The only token I've seen come from there is a meme coin, very generic meme coin called Unicorn, which I don't even know what the meme is, but the point is it's a meme coin. I think that's like the highest runner they've had. And it's like, what happened to this whole thesis of like, hey, like this is going to be the highly curated one. This is where you can go buy real things. Is it actually just another launchpad and it's a marketing stunt, or is that coming? Very confusing why we have been talking about Surge so much, if that's what is coming out of this platform.
I really think that, you know, they have a token and the token price was going up and people like we said earlier, they don't use the product. They see the token price going up, and they're like, "Wow, this shit's amazing. This shit must be amazing because it's gone up 50% in the last hour."
Yeah.
But I don't want to shit on them too much. I think they still have a chance, maybe, but it's a bit like the Launchpad wars are in a really weird spot. We've got Finn trying to do something completely different. We've got Surge doing something different. Pump and Bonk competing with each other. It's in a weird spot.
You guys remember GFM? Swizzle, you bull pilled me on GFM.
Yeah, man, I remember
Almost fucking
GFM.
money.
Oh
So I just want
yeah.
to thank you for that. Something, on top of these Launchpads, something that Swizzle and I were talking about yesterday, I think is actually pretty interesting. And maybe a hot take. I think people, we're seeing memes running right now. We're seeing Caprino, we're seeing Penguin. Everything's been memes that has done well. Really, there have been a few AI tokens that have done well, but it all kind of feels forced to me, the AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got Claudebot. People are talking about Mac Minis all the time. The tomato people are really pushing the tomato. Then we had Ralph and Gas, which were just like us forcing an AI narrative on actual AI founders. I think the people calling for AI season are kind of like the Memecoin Japanese soldiers of late 2024. I think they're trying to force a narrative that might not exist anymore, that they really want there to be, but it just isn't happening. I don't know if you guys feel similarly to that, or if it's inevitable that we have an AI season again, or if it's going to be something totally different that we don't know about. But I'm getting the sense more and more that there is no cohesive meta that within AI that has done well on chain, and the ceilings are just getting lower and lower and lower, and nothing has done well for a year now in that genre.
Yeah, I think you probably onto something with them potentially being Japanese soldiers in the narrative. Definitely. I just think there lacks innovation on chain right now.
Yeah.
There's just nothing new. I think I said this last pod, like last AI season, we were doing something new with the agents, and there was like, we had Frank going on podcast going, it's going to be this crypto is going to be this whirlwind of AI agents talking to each other. I don't know if you guys have seen that clip.
Yeah.
But he's like, there's going to be loads of LLMs talking to each other. It's going to be the only place in the world it's happening. And you know what? At the time, we were all like, yeah, fucking hell, he's onto something. This guy's talking what we want to hear here. And then we started to realize it was kind of retarded a few months later. But back then it was innovating. It wasn't going on in Web 2, and now everything we're doing, we're copying from Web 2. There's no actual real advancements. We're not really doing anything new. We're just forking a Web 2 dev and trying to fucking shoehorn him into crypto, and that doesn't go smoothly, as we've seen multiple times. But yeah, I think it feels like we are playing out the same cards that played out not too long ago. Like we had C Computer, which was literally called Claude Computer. That shit went to 20 mil, and he changed the name, and it rugged. And now we're back here with Claude Bot, changed the name, rugged. So like, what game are we playing here?
Yeah, I mean, so Wood, you brought this up to me last night, and the first time I read it, I was like, I don't know, that's a pretty hot take to say that, like, the AI is not really going to have anything materialize here. The more I thought about it, and it's very concerning to look at, call it like the thought leaders in the AI crypto space, like the people who are really kind of like early to like identifying these narratives the first time around, who are very actively still pushing for this to happen again. I think the concern is like the tokens they're grasping onto and trying to push right now. To your point, Wood, it's like it feels so forced. It's like, if there really isn't anything else to grab onto in the AI crypto crossover, other than like effectively a mascot token where you're cheering on an idea, like the Claudebot thing is one of the most insane things I've ever heard to try to like make it intellectualized argument about why this is revolutionary. It's like, okay, the tech is cool. What's happening in the world is cool. I agree. It's a good product. But you are making a case to say this token that has the name of the product. There was literally a token called Mac Mini, It is the name of a computer. And people are people we actually I respect and trust and think are very smart people, but like they're making like theses around the idea of that being something that runs. It's like that's very concerning. That's very concerning. If that is what you're gonna, if you are a crypto AI person and that's what you want and that's what you're latching onto, you got to look in the mirror a little bit, I think, and say, you got to find something better if you want people to care. You just
Or go
have to
back to
find something
memes.
better. Because that's
Yeah.
it is a meme, except it's not
Yeah.
even a meme. It's just a word on a computer screen. You got to find something that actually has some value, because otherwise I'd say like the veil is off and people are happy to trade meme coins. We'll trade anything with liquidity. But like that's just not doing it because we know that's a meme now, so we'll just trade a funny meme coin instead.
Yeah,
you
we just
know?
trade
Like,
Penguin.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. It's a cultural economy. I get that it's a attention economy and we're trading virality. So like I understand where they're trying to go, but we got to do something better than that if we're going to really latch on and have a quote unquote AI season.
If it does feel like we've been calling for this for a while, and it's just like, you know, when do we just say, you know, on chain's destined for memes at the moment? Because I feel like it kind of is, and the longer
And
you fade
that's
it,
at the lower ends, right? Like
Yeah.
this is low caps. This is like a certain subset of traders that we happen to like, you know, be very tuned into. There's real stuff happening on chain. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we see today there's about, you know, the hypes and Zex and Sol and Pumps of the world. Like those are tokens you can really talk about and have a case for, and that's fine. Like we don't have to have thousands of utility tokens. Like we can just focus on the industry leaders. But if you want to start creating like, you know, a whole movement around this stuff, then there's got to be something behind it for
Yeah.
all the low caps.
Listen, it goes back to something I think I said, or that a friend of ours said, is that there's a bunch of non-technical people trying to create a narrative around something, and unfortunately, we lack technical builders to follow up with this narrative that people are trying to spread. And you know, we're following volume. Like gas topped at 40 mil, Ralph topped at 50, 60, Penguin went to $1.70. Copperino's already surpassed all-time high of tomato, I think, or close to it.
Really?
I think it
Oh
hit like
man, holy shit!
you know, like the thing with I think the thing with crypto is you need like a broader narrative and a broader meta to create sustained momentum on chain. You know, we saw that with the agent stuff and AI16Z and Cerebro and Bully and whatever, all those things. Everything feels disjointed and nothing feels like there's a narrative of sort that we can all like wrap our head around and build an ecosystem around. Someone said to me, you know, crypto is just one big casino and you got to fill out the casino with different things like a liquor store and a bank and whatever. We have no like narrative to fill out yet within AI like we had with AI16.
So one more thought on this, Wood. Like, I think there are actually founders who are building things natively, and I think the issue is like these things just take time, and so because it's an attention economy, we lose track, and then people shift to kind of the more LARPy stuff. But like, if you want to talk about whether you believe in these things or not, whether they're gonna, you know, really blow up or not, like you have Kled, which is, you know, the founder has adopted and embraced the token. They're working on AI training models and all this stuff. That's something. You have Umbra building privacy infrastructure. You have Avicii building this neobanking infrastructure. None of those things are gonna like pop up and be doing massive numbers overnight because it can take years to build this stuff, right? But you do have that stuff, and within those subsets, you have the founders who actually have embraced their tokens. It just doesn't move fast enough. And we'll find out if that stuff if the product is good or not. We don't know yet. People just want to move faster. And I think that's why with the AI stuff, it's kind of tortured a little bit that they want to push this AI season, but like they can't really get behind the things that don't move fast enough. So they're going to go to the more meme type stuff. And it just doesn't make sense to trade that in comparison to, you know, meme coins or whatever else can move faster. So I think, you know, ultimately I agree with your point that it's like, unless they start adopting the things that really are crypto native founders building sustainable projects, like I don't see them getting out of this hole where the stuff keeps, going up a little bit and then rugging.
Yeah, and maybe that's the bull case for Meta. Maybe you just route me. Maybe for MetaDAO, even though I think it's kind of ridiculous what they're doing, but they are creating an ecosystem that has good actors that are actually building, and they're incentivized for that building, and they're launching tokens. A lot of builders aren't even launching tokens anymore; they're just launching products.
I haven't heard a lot from them recently. No, like
MetaDAO.
Yeah.
No, they've got Umbra, they've got their own token, they've got Avicii, which I still think is a cool concept. I think everything that's launched out of it is actually like things that we need, but like within the space that is important. But they're not sustaining attention because we, as you see on chain in real time, every single day is people go from coin to coin to coin to coin to coin, and we can't hold our attention to anything anymore. And I don't know. Yes, that's fixable by liquidity. Liquidity fixes everything. Price go up fix everything. But like watching, even as we've had the most liquidity we've ever had, just watching in a microcosm, like money shift from one coin to the next, to the next, to the next, so fucking quickly, and the rotations being so vicious, and seeing Gas and Ralph go to absolute zero, and then Claudbot go to absolute zero, is just super disheartening to me. Like I caught Penguin and Gas, and I'm still down low six figures on my Trench wallet in the last month.
Wow.
You can't believe in anything.
I don't think you're alone there as well. I was speaking in a group chat the other day, like one of the bigger group chats, and people were saying they're down 200k on the month still. And these are people who've caught SKR, they caught Penguin, and I was thinking, holy shit, how many pairs are you trading? If you're generally down 200k and you caught these massive runners, like some of these guys have $1 million P&L on Penguin, and they're still down on the month. They're down on the month, which says a lot. It says a lot about the trenches. These guys are the guys who are meant to be winning. They're here every single day, without fail. And they are down on the month. So I say if you are profitable right now and you're in profit, you're doing a lot better than you maybe think. But yeah, it proves it's a tough market to be trading, especially with how quickly things go to zero. I think a lot of people don't realize, maybe some people weren't around back then, but even a year ago, 2 years ago, things wouldn't go to, say you went at a runner, the gas town goes to 60 mil, you wouldn't wake up one day and it's at 2 mil. It just wouldn't happen. Like, it wouldn't happen. You would wake up, you'd be down 20%. Okay. You get a bit of breathing room. You get more legs on the way down. Now it's one leg straight down. Dead. Everyone's dead. Sick. So, tough market.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're thinking about risk, you're like, okay, like, I can sleep on this bag. That's $70 million. There's no world that goes to zero. Worst case scenario, I lose 50% overnight. Like, I can live with losing 50% overnight. I can't live with having to worry that I'm going to lose 95% of my money overnight.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me with Ralph.
By the way,
which is insane.
The funny thing with this,
overnight. Like,
I was talking to a friend last night about this, because he told me, he said, hey, I just got back into this like, a month ago, and he's been locked in. He finds everything, but he was like, what tools do you use to like, for stops and like kind of like price alerts and all this stuff, because I'm having trouble sleeping at night. And I said, yeah, man, like you're not going to sleep well if you want to do this, because I was playing around with like Jupiter. I was trying to use like, their limit orders and stops. And it's like that stuff for these low caps doesn't really work, because
you get slipped as well.
Yeah. You get slipped like crazy. Or if you set your slippage too low, if something moves too aggressively, it's not going to fill. So, or it's not going to stop. So like, it's just not designed for like things that have 80% candles in either direction. It doesn't work. So, like, I think there is a further discussion about like, okay, what are some good, like hygienic practices you could have to navigate these positions? Should you use Meteora for exits and entries? Like, I think that's a great tool. A lot of people don't talk enough about, because, that is one of the ways that you can kind of like navigate volatility and actually do well with it. There's, is there a better solution for limits and stops on spot positions for meme coins, etc.? But yeah, man, it's a tough environment because it's just, there's not a way to sleep easy at night if this is how it's going to work. And it goes both ways. You can wake up and something's up 100%. More likely than not, it's going to be the opposite, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. But yeah, it is a tough perspective from a risk perspective. Like, you wake up and your bag's 95% down. Like, what do you even do? Like, it's just over. You have to scrape whatever you've got left and get out, which is it's a tough thing for top blasters. And I tweeted about this the other day as well. Like, the PTSD participants always win at the moment. They always win. And the only time they haven't won in recent history is Penguin. These guys sold sub 10 mil. Dude. But that's the only one they've got burn on.
Yeah, but they've been right every other time.
So exactly, yeah.
So net, they're up.
I can't dunk on these guys.
But they saved
but then Penguin teaches you to fucking hold. And now your ceiling's raised. So like you're bidding things you think now have a higher ceiling, and then you get burned, and it's just a whole sick cycle. I literally just saw this tweet, and it's so funny. Guy who trades the most rapey market in the world. Damn, man, everything is so rapey.
Yeah. The most PvP market in the world.
Just described us in a nutshell right now. We're trading this ridiculous market and complaining about how ridiculous this market is.
It's funny though, like let's take Penguin. If it does rip and it goes, a next leg to 300 million or whatever, and you see new all-time highs, all it takes is that one time to punish these people. And right back, you guys saw the cage meme, like right back into the cage you go. Like it's time to, I can't afford to not hold, even though 99% of the time it's still going to be the way that Wood was just describing. It just keeps you in the cage, it keeps you coming back for more. And that thought of the possibility instead of the probability is what haunts a lot of people, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm hopeful that we can see some more strength in the market and see some more liquidity on chain, believing, community driven stuff coming back, because that's what makes on chain trading fun, right? Hopefully Penguin can be that coin, not just for you, Swizzle, and your dollar and your wallet, but for the market as a whole. It was good to see that happen. I did sell it all because I don't know. I just don't.
That's what you do best. That's what you do best.
I used to.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Did you guys hear Plato yesterday tell us about her system about risk management? And everyone was just like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You have a system for risk management."
Do I need to go back and fucking read that? She has a risk management system.
Swizzle was trying to convince her to average down in Penguin, and she was like, "No, I wish I could, but that would really go against my risk management system." And we were just
and I was like, "What is that? What's a risk management?"
Bro, Plato is notorious for trading sub 200k tickets. What risk? I'm interested now. I've got to know her risk on strategy.
Yeah, maybe we can get her on the pod to discuss her risk on strategy. Risk off
strategy. Yeah, the risk off strategy.
I don't know anything about that. All I know is that my game is I lose 95% of the time, and then I win 5% of the time, and you make your wins much, much bigger than your losses, and hope that works out for you. Not everybody's like that. So, who knows? Swizzle, I saw you doing due diligence on a token yesterday, by the way.
Wow. That is a first. I
wonder which one
on the timeline.
Be. Yeah.
On-chain forensic.
Yeah, I had a little back and forth with him, Garija. Actually afterwards, yeah. So I accused, it wasn't exactly an accusation. Someone shared, a reliable wallet tracker shared some information that the wallet they had tagged as being him's, that sold in 2 clips, like $400,000 worth of that copper Inu coin. And then a minute, less than 60 seconds after those sells happened, him posted a tweet saying some large holders have been selling. We're gonna run it back, and I'm like, okay. And I saw this is a pretty legitimate wallet tracker. I'm not gonna say who it is, but they posted that, and so I say, okay. All I didn't make any accusations. I just posted the screenshot. I said, I put it there. It showed how much the him tagged wallet sold. Him responded into my post with a, kind of like basically implying that it wasn't him. And the wallet tracker told me, yeah, I'm not 100% positive that's him, but I do have other wallets of his that I'm pretty sure were, which was then backtracked later. I got a couple messages from people in DMs. They said, hey, I'm really confident that I can't speak about the others, but I'm really confident that one was not him. So I was like, all right, I posted this. I have to address that. I said, okay, I've been informed by multiple DMs that specific wallet is not in fact him. And as I said, I did on the tweet, I said, you know what? If I got this level of engagement, I think I got like almost 100,000 views on this post. I was like, all right, this is probably got some legs to it. So I did blast a good amount. I'm now a proud holder of some Copper Inu token. And then him reposted me and kind of, I think we made good on our beef. I think we're friends now for the time being. And then of all crazy things, if you can go back to the other one, I get credited for doing due diligence by him. Wood comments on the post and says it's the first time I've done due diligence.
Responds to himself on the pod.
And then responds to himself with our
That is impressive. That is impressive. That is impressive stuff, man. That is levels to this game from Wood.
I mean, Wood just engagement farming over there.
Yeah.
I'm learning, him is kind of the best to do it in the game. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to take a lesson from him, and make myself as outrageous and ridiculous sounding as he is. See if I can do it. But yeah, that was pretty funny. The funny thing is that I didn't even think twice about doing it. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to switch accounts.
Yeah, it just came second nature. Your hand's moving on its own. Fuck.
I'm pretty sure Sats is the only other guy with access to that, and I don't think he would. I don't even think he's awake right now. So
you can clearly tell when it's Sats or me tweeting, because Sats tweets are like done well,
and yours are just shit posts,
and mine are just slop that are not
congratulatory.
Yeah, so Sats has taken over Twitter duties from me because we want someone smart to. They're doing.
That's a stretch, man. That's a stretch.
I think who has more followers, me or you, Sats?
I don't know. I think maybe me at the moment. All it takes
Wood,
is one.
We now have to
wonder
how
Wood
many
banger.
are bots. How many of Wood's followers are Wood alt accounts?
Yeah, it's him. It's him on the alts. It's him on jumping on the alt. Respond to it. Great post, Wood. Yeah. Great post. Great take here. I love this one.
Oh man, I wish I did that. Man. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here, guys. I'm blasting more Copper Inu as we speak. Let's talk again. We'll be back when? Friday? Oh,
Friday.
Yes, Friday's that.
We got a guy from Solana coming on.
This Friday.
This Friday. So it should be an interesting episode. Ask all the trench questions to him. Yeah, from the foundation. So yeah, we'll ask all the trench questions to him. Hopefully have a conversation what people want to hear. That should be good.
Yeah, we've got some great guests coming up. I know it's just been us three, but the next couple of weeks we've got some really big guests coming up. If people have, we'll try to announce these ahead of time. If you have questions about Solana, we're going to have the co-founder of Meteora on soon too. If there's things you guys want to talk about, then DM us, put it in the replies, because I think these are going to be pretty cool episodes where we can really get into some stuff. So.
Yeah, the whole goal of these apps will be to ask the questions that trenchers actually want to know. It won't just be a generic episode. It's asking what are the end users wanting to know out of these platforms. So yeah, hopefully good apps.
It'll be a great app. Looking forward to them. We'll be back Friday. I'll see you Friday, 12:00 Eastern. Risk On, brought to you by FOMO. Use promo code Risk On to get half off your trading fees. Go download it today. Join Sats, Swizzle, and myself in trading, and hopefully you can perform better than us three. And we'll be back. Thanks, guys.